if you're under pressure, dealing with difficult people at home, at work, or even in social media, listen up. Our next guest, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, sharing his secrets to mental toughness for you. He's also an emotional intelligence expert. Eric Rittmeyer is here. Eric, can we all learn to be mentally tough without enlisting?
Anybody can become mentally tough. That's the great thing about emotional intelligence and mental toughness.
All right, you break it up into 4 categories. Number 1, when it comes to feelings, you say, don't let your feelings get in the way. What are you talking about?
Unfortunately, a lot of people, the gut instinct for any type of situation they're in is to let the emotions get the best of them. They respond emotionally, and when you respond emotionally to a situation, unfortunately, you're going to do something you probably regret doing.
So when someone attacks you personally or professionally, even about your family, how do you turn down the internal emotion meter?
It's difficult to do. It definitely requires a lot of practice, but basically it's a matter of trying to shelf that initial feeling and understand that I'm feeling an emotion, I can't react emotionally, or I'm going to say something I'm going to regret.
What's wrong with acting emotionally?
Look at politics right now. You'll see the problem with that. Yeah, unfortunately, emotions, just you're making bad decisions that way.
You also say to suspend, I guess in the Marines, they scream at you and they try to get personal and they want you to overreact, and that's part of boot camp. They're willing, you say you have to be willing to suspend your disbeliefs. What do you mean? Yeah,
I mean, again, go back to the current political environment. Unfortunately, there's a total inability to suspend a disbelief. You believe what you believe, I believe what I believe. I don't want to hear anything. Stop talking. I believe it, you're not changing my mind. That's a problem.
So how do I change that?
You have to internally find a way to take your belief and set it aside and try to understand where somebody else is coming from a logical standpoint.
How do the Marines put that in you?
They beat it into us, actually.
In what way? What do you mean they beat it into you?
They mentally beat it up.
They make sure. They just put you through the paces, and when you overreact, you're not passing. When you underreact, you are.
Absolutely. You cannot do things based on emotion. You have to weigh that out with logic as well.
So compartmentalize, you talk about common ground. What do you mean?
Finding something in common. I think Dan Crenshaw, the congressman, is a prime example of this. He lost his eye. He basically had Chris Evans come to Capitol Hill for some veterans issues, I guess. Apparently, politically, they don't agree on a lot of stuff. Dan actually changed his eye, his glass eye, to be the shield for Captain America for Chris Evans. Political views were very, very different. They agreed on something, veterans issues. It's finding common ground. It's compartmentalizing feelings to find things you agree on as opposed to focusing on what you don't agree on.
And if you keep your emotions down, you're able to think clearly. If your emotions high, it clouds your judgment.
They're inversely related. As emotions go up, logic goes down and vice versa.
And the other thing to keep in mind, too, how often do you lose your temper and regret it? Almost every time.
100% of the time.
You never say to yourself, I'm so glad I flew off the handle.
Yeah, that's the best thing I ever did. Right. I'm glad I called you a bad name.
So you have something else that I think is so lacking, especially as I watch these freshman congresswomen and men come in now. They're not listeners. They came in talking. I look at Cory Booker, for example. He didn't say a word for about a year and a half. It's like I'm new here. And you watch these other freshmen walk in, and they came in talking. You say be professional listeners.
Yeah. We have an innate need to be understood, to be heard. Unfortunately, we're horrible listeners. Mentally tough people, they listen with the intent to understand, not with the intent to reply.
Right. And also, I think when you listen and you respond, people bond with you quicker because they know that your views matter.
We're very simple as humans.
All right. And simple in a good way.
Simple in a good way.
All right. So you want to be mentally tough, where do we go?
MentalToughnessSpeaker.com.
All right, and he did it through the Marines. You don't have to because he did. Eric Rittmeyer, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
And thanks for your service.
Thank you, sir.
Straight ahead.